I'm Navi.
And we're gonna get started with winners semifinals. It's a little late, so we're doing a little bit of losers top. We're gonna do losers top 8 on the side stream. That's BlueJ17_. But we're gonna get into winners semifinals. We got Deathspade versus TonyZTank.
Let's get into it.
These two, I think these two played at Sweet Spot.
Yeah, I think I recall that.
Yeah, it was a very close set. I remember.
I'm pretty sure I remember Deathspade taking that set, but
Yep.
We'll see how this one goes.
We are definitely in it for the long run. We got Sora versus Sonic. I'm a little surprised with the Sora pick, to be honest with you.
Well, I've heard that Bayonetta against Sonic is not the greatest matchup, so
That's fair.
Probably just Deathspade's preference. Although I think I did see them go Bayo at Sweet Spot when they played.
Yeah, so maybe the Sora is a bit more warmed up. I don't believe Deathspade was playing much friendlies from what I saw, but I've been a little busy, so.
We did see the Sora come out from Deathspade in their last set against Axiom.
That is true. Well, to be fair, that's a very, very bad matchup for Ices.
It could be Deathspade decided that they have much more Sora-favored bracket.
And it looks like it's going pretty well. I mean, Sora kind of just floating around, looping.
Yeah. Notably, Deathspade is our only top 4 seed that's still in winner's bracket.
That is true. I mean, Tony was, no, we have Bloopy.
Oh yeah, Ploopy's still
Yeah, we have Bloopy. So far Kansas City defending with that nice back air, or the back throw.
Yeah, looking like a pretty strong lead right now from Deathspade's part. We'll have to see how Tony can turn this around, maybe with an edge guard here, but doing that against Sora is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I don't see many people successfully edge guard Sora, but maybe with the spin charge. But that was weird. Don't tech it, but I mean, yeah, you'll make it back. I don't think I've ever seen Sora just not make it back with all his resources.
Honestly, Sora's got like one of the best recoveries in the game. You kind of have to kill him off the hit.
I might argue the best.
If you want to edge guard, well, distance-wise maybe, but like it's very exploitable if you.
That's true.
It's nothing like Pikachu in terms of like mix-ups you have.
Yep, I agree.
Notably, another reason why Sonic would struggle with Pikachu.
That is true.
As we might end up seeing later.
Yeah. Tony going for a deep edge guard there. There we go. Finally getting the back throw.
Yeah, that's going to be the stock.
Took a while to get that first stock, but Tony still isn't too far behind.
Yeah, Tony probably playing for the long game. Just going to hopefully try and get a percent lead on his part. But
Tony is certainly used to, making these games real long if they need to be. As a Sonic player, you kind of need to have that mental strength.
And I don't know how many Sonics there are in Kansas City that Deathspade could have experience against.
I know GamerDog has a Sonic. I just don't know how often they play Sonic.
Yeah, I can't think of any Sonic mains in Kansas City off the top of my head, but maybe I'm missing someone.
Wow, just ripped the up smash. That was really good.
That homing attack is very unsafe if you hit the ground with it. There's a lot of end lag, so Deathspade taking advantage of that.
Honestly, I'm surprised at how much Sonic players use spin charge when I barely see it work.
You mean homing attack?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a footstool? No.
It is. It was a footstool.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Tony still had enough in the tank to make it back. That F smash firing right back, gonna make it almost an even game.
Yeah, Tony's been doing good at clawing his way back, but 3 up airs in a row, that is not helping.
Yeah, Deathspade's been doing really good at pushing these advantage states, not getting reversaled by spin dash. That get up attack was really nice.
Tony's just been stuck on the ledge this whole time. He needs to get just some kind of opening. Sonic doesn't even really do that big of combos, so he really needs to find.
If he gets one of those
openings.
up airs, he can extend his strings pretty long.
That is true.
I doubt he kind of just needs to pile on damage in one of those offstage interactions.
Right.
But that up air maybe gonna seal the deal. Not quite yet.
Up air has been just Deathspade's best friend this whole game, and I would assume the whole set as well.
Yeah, Sora having a very good up air.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big it was until now.
I think it's comparable to Corrin's in size.
No way.
But it has a better front hitbox than Corrin at least.
161.
Tony
Surely.
getting a lot of platform tech chases here.
Yeah, now the homing attack is working a lot.
Kind of bringing it back a lot closer to even. Sonic does have some early kill options, while not
Ooh,
many.
nice back air. Oh, went for the edge guard.
Oh, the tech
Yeah,
on
that'll
that
do
back
it.
air.
Wow, that was a great tech. That would have been the game if Deathspade had not teched that.
That was a really good play for Tony. He saw like, he took advantage of the opportunity. He knew he needed to get there.
He's smirking. Look at him.
It's just that Deathspade, he was just ready for it.
Yep.
I didn't expect it to send that far up, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, for how much Deathspade was in the lead that entire game, Tony brought it back really well. Like, I could have seen Tony winning that game.
Yeah, I think if Tony finds a way to like get down from the up airs easier, he could easily turn this around.
I think what helps for Tony is that it feels like, even though he's playing Sonic, he's playing the long game, he is in the game at all times, and at any moment he can find his opening and just capitalize off of that very well.
Like, Sonic is generally a timeout character, but he does have a lot of explosive potential, and I do see Tony running in, I'd say, more than at least some Sonics.
Yeah, Tony honestly does not camp that much. I mean, at least in my experience, you know,
Like,
maybe it was different back in the day.
He definitely does his fair share of
if need be, he
patience
will.
neutral, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
But that's necessary from anyone.
I'm
at
just
this
praying
level.
we don't get a Tony versus Zen set tonight.
That will take ages.
It's likely, but I'm hoping.
Tony, I found normally opens the game with an aggressive spin dash at least.
Tony overall, I feel like it's more aggressive. Oh, the air dodge to avoid the homing attack. That was really
But that
smart.
spring's still gonna goes for the stage spike, doesn't tech it.
I was a big fan of that side beat from Deathspade.
Tony really greedy going for these homing attacks off stage. They don't seem to be working that well though.
That's gonna do it. Jeez, I feel like he probably could live that.
Yeah. Maybe Tony should reconsider the way he's approaching these edge guards, because I feel like opting for safer, like just dropping the spring down there, or like even trying to go down with fair and stage spike, would work better than running off and homing attack.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of aerial battles, I've noticed, and it's usually Deathspade who's coming out on top against these. Deathspade is living to a really high percent like most of these stocks.
Yeah. Sora, definitely a very hard character to kill off stage.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm surprised Tony is like trying to battle Deathspade in the air as much. That'll definitely
That was
do
a
it.
really good grab, actually, off of the spin dash. That's going to even the stocks up, but
Tony's got a bit to claw back.
Tony got to make up a little bit, but...
Wow, he can turn spin dash, or the homing attack for a long
Oh
time.
my god, the ice got stage spiked. I don't think I've ever seen that
Yeah,
before.
because you probably can't tech that, can you?
Yeah. I'd assume you can't tech while you're in the ice.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny if you could.
That was a really weird interaction.
That was.
Tony's got to try his best to not let that, like, tilt him or anything. He seems to be playing hyper aggressive now.
Yeah, he's angry now. You don't want an angry Tony. Yep, he found that opening. Not getting the forward air though.
You can take advantage of an angry Tony, but you do like an angry Tony when you have the lead.
That is true, because Tony wants to get the lead so he can start camping you out, but if he's not in the lead, then
Yeah.
he needs to get this kill.
And Sonic does have a couple tools, like that F smash
Oh, wow.
hits ledge, you can combo into it, kills super early. But Tony looking in a very bad spot off stage right now, but he makes it back. Oh, I thought he was going for the back throw there.
Deathspade's about to loop him in percentages. Tony's got to do a lot of work just to kill Deathspade. And Tony definitely can die to a lot of stuff here, like this thunder. No?
Yeah, this one's hard to
Oh, that
claw
might
back.
do it.
Tries to go for the same Plazaga kill that he got the last stock.
It was certainly a good match, though. Oh, wow,
Oh
that
wow,
caught
the
him.
homing attack killing.
Yeah, even the crowd is all like surprised at that hit.
Tony does have a chance here, but he pretty much has to avoid getting hit for this entire remaining time in this game. Goes for the down air.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with Tony going so much off stage.
Honestly, the down air is kind of the exact thing you need at this point, but he has clawed back a few hits, gets that nair.
With all this rage, a lot could kill.
Deathspade gets the roll read with the spin dash. Deathspade is certainly in the realms of getting killed by Sonic here.
Oh, falls out of the dash attack.
The
Oh, no.
homing attack almost might kill him.
He fell
falls
out of it.
Thunder.
Oh, this is so close now. How did
Tony
we get
hanging
here?
on by a thread right now.
Yep,
That dash attack, that's going to
Yeah.
seal the stock. That was a lot closer, I
That
think.
was, yeah.
Despite Tony dying at like 25 or something off stage.
That was pretty funny.
When he was frozen.
Yeah.
Like, Tony's figuring stuff out.
Yep.
He's getting these roll reads with spin dash. He's getting like, he's playing hot.
I'd say so, yeah.
You can tell. And when he needs to claw it back, like, I'd say that's one of Tony's strongest aspects is like, he can time you out like any other Sonic, but he's really good at like bringing it back if he's down.
Yep. That's just more like that's just a Sonic thing in general though, right?
Yeah, he knows exactly the kind of openings he needs.
There's that aggressive opening you were mentioning.
He seems to love homing attack, and while it is a bit of a risky move, I haven't seen him get punished for it that much considering how much he's used it.
I think honestly Tony realizes that he doesn't need to camp at all times, like especially at the beginning of the game. It's like this is the moment to be aggressive and to get like a huge lead.
Honestly, in this matchup, it doesn't even look like Tony needs to camp at all.
Yeah, he hasn't really been doing it. Great F smash.
Oh my god, that F smash was amazing. Tony taking pretty much a full stock lead. This is the point where we can see if Tony's willing to run this to time.
Yeah, this is the first time Tony's been up pretty much the entire set, so now we'll see if like there's like a shift in how this set goes.
Exactly. Tony finally in the driver's seat. Although Deathspade's still sitting with those 2 games under his belt. That F smash is gonna even it up pretty much.
Sora's broken. So much aggression.
And that might be why like it would have been better for Tony to play a bit more conservatively that stock.
Maybe Tony might take that as a lesson to like take it a bit slower because Deathspade's almost bringing it back to even now, even though Tony pretty much got a 0 to death in the first stock.
Exactly.
Wow, great counter. I kind of forgot Sora had a counter. This would be probably a good matchup to use that.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it does much damage though, so the risk reward might not be there.
That's fair. It is like the best counter in the game though.
Well, like, I wouldn't say the best. There's certainly ones that have a better risk reward.
Yeah.
Probably for edge guarding, it's the best.
Getting a little greedy with that F smash
That spin dash back air was very clean. Goes for the homing attack, but Deathspade techs it.
Deathspade wouldn't have lived that had he not needed to tech that.
Tony's still living, although that back air almost killed him.
Great back air.
There we go, gonna secure the lead yet again. Trying to see if he can keep a hold of this game that's almost slipped away from him.
And Deathspade's gonna keep the Thundaga on deck. It has worked a couple times in this set before. I bet he's gonna rip it now.
But that kind of just gave Tony back stage control. So I wonder if it was even worth using that.
I feel like that might be a little too predictable. Like Tony will just know when the Thundaga is gonna be used.
Yeah, he might just be trying to get rid of the Thundaga to get to the other spells.
Yep, and especially because Tony can, since Sonic is so fast, obviously, he can get around the Thundaga pretty well.
Yeah, Thundaga seems mostly to be a tool against people who don't really know how to avoid it.
Or if you're not playing against Sonic, you know?
Yeah, but like, I feel like I see the consensus that they generally want to cycle away from Thundaga. That up air, that was risky because Tony was charging the up smash, which definitely would have killed there.
Deathspade does not have a whole lot of fear against Tony.
Exactly.
And I think that's what helps against Sonic, is that you just cannot be afraid.
Tony going for an extremely risky forward air there.
Deathspade getting some good 3 pieces. Is trying to claw their way back, but Tony being aggressive, really?
Almost gonna take the kill there.
Let's see if Tony's
Tony's still heavily in the driver's seat. What a good grab there.
Really?
Doesn't actually kill, but
Sonic terrible?
He's got Sora off stage now. Tries to go for this, gets the second spring.
Brings some nice damage.
Yeah, and you can kind of just repeat it.
Yeah, but at this point, like anything is gonna kill, except for that, I guess.
You just keep springing until he eventually misses the tech.
I don't feel like you could miss the tech though. You've hit it so many times. I wonder if Tony could just like fake a spring. Like you jump out and you're like, oh, am I gonna drop the spring? And then he just doesn't. And then Deathspade accidentally air dodges out of it.
We've seen how early Deathspade can kill with these Sora F smashes, so this definitely isn't out of the realm of possibility, but Tony is gonna clutch that game out.
Tony on the board. I mean, honestly, this set's been very even, and so I'm not surprised Tony got a game.
Yeah, all these games could have gone either way.
Absolutely. And Tony being a slow player, you know, he has a lot of time to adapt.
Yeah. He's played many sets in his day. I'm sure his mental isn't going to get phased by being down 2-0 one time.
And speaking of Tony, though, he's been doing very well this entire bracket. He's been like one of the few players to actually get upset. I don't know if he's dropped a game, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he dropped a game until he reached top 8.
At least in top 32, he 3-0'd Andrew SK and then 3-0'd Jinx. So
I'm pretty sure he told me he didn't drop a game yet. So
I'd be surprised if he dropped a game to someone in pools. I don't know who he had.
I don't recall who he played in pools.
I believe he played Quick Poison.
Regardless, very dominant run today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony.
Deathspade as well. I know Deathspade 3-0'd Rye Guy, and then I think maybe dropped one game to Axiom, but
Tony recently coming out of hibernation or break or whatever. I don't know.
That's gonna do it.
That doesn't quite kill, but Tony kind of wasn't playing much until like this recent PR season.
Yep. Got ranked number 2.
And he came back number 2 on the ranking, but
he was not very happy about that. So I think
he's looking to go even higher.
I think he's here today to prove a point. Sandbag, who got number 1, is out at 13th. So this is the prime time for Tony to capitalize on that and potentially win the event. At the very least, get some good wins.
Exactly.
I really do think this last season was Tony like gearing up and like remembering how to play the game. Not like he knows how to play the game, but like remembering the tournament vibes. And now it's like it's game time, right?
Yeah.
But Deathspade
back to
appears
this game. Tony does have a percent lead, gets the F tilt.
Yep.
Tony showing that those 2 games Deathspade got did not affect his composure at all.
That was a good get-up attack.
He's dancing up nicely for a reverse 3-0, but I won't speak too soon.
Yeah, with a player like Deathspade, you can never tell. Deathspade is a very talented player.
I wonder if we see the Bayo if he takes this game.
I don't know. You know, I
honestly doubt it.
I would think that depend on how well Tony wins this game. If it's like a 2-stock, then maybe.
I don't see there being that dominant of a game in this set.
Yeah. Do you know, is Deathspade more like a co-main where it's just like I play whoever I play the best?
It's pretty much a co-main.
Okay. Because I feel like at majors
at least
I feel like at majors I don't see the Sora that often.
I think it's mostly just because Bayo's a better character.
That's fair. Caught Tony really well with the up smash there. If Deathspade can capitalize on this, this would be very, very good for him. That was a good back air.
Very clean.
Getting a little greedy with that up smash, but we got another one out.
He knows not to get too much off of that spin dash, just going for the back air, disengaging, but
charging it up.
I've got him off stage, but gives up all his advantage state for that homing attack. But he doesn't get punished for it.
Wow, Sonic is just not kill. Sora's light. I'm surprised it's taking Tony so long to kill.
Well, he has options that can kill here. Up air.
Yeah, great conversion.
Right
off
there.
The ledge. It was in like the middle of the stage up at the top.
Yeah. One of the biggest leads Tony's had this set.
This could be huge for Tony. I think Tony should maybe take a breather for being up so much, you know.
I think
nice.
I think the mental damage if Tony goes on the verge of a reverse 3-0, the mental damage that would do to Deathspade is worth noting.
Yep.
So that game 5 will be extremely interesting to see. That Thunder is gonna bring it back to even. That was a crazy stock from Deathspade.
Finally got one.
Just like, not even like that many crazy combos, just getting those hits where you needed them and then just knowing when to capitalize on that advantage state.
And just like that, Deathspade has been in a great advantage state.
Tony just trying to get back in the driver's seat. That was a really good homing attack predicting the down air there.
Very nice up smash.
Tony has a slight lead right now, but
Deathspade's certainly taking their time to land. For being such a floaty character, it makes sense.
That nair was really good to cover the air dodge.
See if Tony can do anything with him on ledge.
Oh, that back air. That was excellently done by
do it.
Tony. Bringing it to game 5 on the verge of a reverse 3-0.
Tony's officially geared up. I think now it's like, I understand you. I'm going all in this game.
Yeah. So Deathspade has to probably change something up here.
Maybe we see the Bayo.
I feel like based on how fast this. Oh, we are switching our tag though.
Yeah. So this is probably going to Bayo. Yep.
Are going Bayonetta here.
See if the Bayo can save this reverse 3-0 potentially.
Now switching in game 5.
That's a bold move.
It's a bold move, especially when you won the first 2 games with the same character.
Yeah. It's scary. You got to be committed. But this is obviously Deathspade's best character, so.
Yeah. So we're gonna see how bad this matchup was in the first place that made him go Sora.
Yep. Now Deathspade can certainly camp as well, so.
Tony just going for that F smash.
That's crazy. Doing that 20 seconds in is crazy.
I think the teabag was accidental, honestly.
No, I was talking about the footstool. The footstool down
Oh.
there. You hop back on stage and bonk. This could be huge for Deathspade.
Tony
Oh,
trying not to lose an early stock here. He does miss the combo.
I'm shocked that Tony got out of that.
Dodging that down air. Looking a bit scary for Tony.
Whoa,
Does that
where are we
homing attack a
going?
bit too
Oh,
soon.
he didn't
Doesn't
tech.
tech the nair.
Oh no.
He has to make back some ground here.
Getting another
Deathspade
good
getting
advantage
another
fade.
opening, but doesn't get much off of it.
We're sending it again though.
More damage onto Tony.
About to lap Tony in percent.
Yeah,
there
Tony
we go.
has to make something work quickly here.
Jeez, now I'm wondering why we didn't start Bayo. What the heck? This totally caught Tony off guard.
Yeah,
Oh no! Oh no!
Tony definitely wasn't ready for this. It could be that Deathspade realized his best course of action was to disrupt like all of Tony's adaptation.
Yep, the proto strat. Yep, waiting. He knew Deathspade was gonna witch time there. See if Tony can get the first stock off here.
Tony
We
is
tech
pulling
it,
it
but
back
we
a little bit. The
footstool?
footstool.
All right.
I don't know if that was on purpose, but if it was a genius play from
Have you ever
Tony.
seen an intentional footstool in your life?
No, I've seen intentional ones, but like out of a spring.
Out of teching is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because Deathspade was kind of just hanging on the wall too.
Gets the up air. They're even stocks now. Tony just trying to put on damage right now.
Tony's certainly struggling to find an opening. Deathspade is just looping
That
around and
witch
stuff.
time
That's gonna do it.
is gonna that down tilt up smash.
Oh, hot.
Tony has a full stock to make up, but he has been known to do this before.
Absolutely.
Deathspade can't get too comfy.
If a character needs to make a comeback, Sonic would be one of them that could do it pretty easily.
I don't know about easily. It definitely requires at least some reads.
Yep. Oh my
Oh,
god.
the up airs.
Wow. I would have just went
Tony-
for the uppie.
Tony just barely staying alive there.
He needs
Gets
to
the
make a
back
good
air.
advantage of this.
Tries to get the
Did
F
it.
smash. I see how he thought he probably needed that F smash.
Yeah, no. Tony needs this kill now.
Yeah, he needs to.
Unless that does it.
That fair is gonna do it.
Wow. Saving off the reverse 3-0 with the Bayo. That was a great switch, I think.
I wasn't honestly expecting the Bayo switch, but it seemed to work out well.
Yeah. I do think it was the like Tony getting a lot of momentum off understanding the Sora and then saying, well, why don't I just go Bayo?
Yeah, I feel like Tony definitely got caught off guard.